Yeah, I'm not sitting on that. That's a little too dirty for me. So I haven't done a video like this in a real long time with me just talking in front of the camera, on my car, in my garage, which I've been very, very fortunate and happy about. But me making this video is a bad thing, kind of ish. And I'll explain it, because today was supposed to be the CRKC race number 3, but it's not. There's a reason we're doing this, and we're not actually racing today because, long story short, I'm a big dummy. So essentially, the biggest problem, the whole point is that me taking this video is because the thing I'm shooting with right now, and the thing I put on my helmet to like make the videos, I forgot at my house. I had it packed up on my porch, and I forgot to grab it when I left the house. So I got to the track, and I was like, oh, all right, let's get my helmet and stuff ready. Like we're gonna really get it done today. We're gonna win. We're gonna do all of it. And as I was about to put the camera onto my helmet, I was like, don't have it. Good thing is I remember all my racing gear, so I was able to actually race that day. But I forgot my cameras, so no video with that. So this is why we're making this. Hopefully not too long video. Trying to make it nice, short and sweet, just so I can make an update, just so I can do it for myself and for the 5 fans that always love watching these videos. So I'm making it for you guys. So to like start off the whole like disaster that the whole day was I got there extremely, not extremely, but quite late from what I was supposed to. So usually I go on the Saturdays because Sundays I'm busy, and because how great the series really is in reality is you can go any day you want as long as you email them like 24 hours in advance. You can do a makeup race on a different day that you need, just so you can race and keep your points to that race, which is pretty incredible how they do that. So kudos to GoodWood for that. Long story short, I actually ended up finally going to on a Sunday race, which is what I was actually, what I actually chose and scheduled to like actually race on. But I'm not used to that, so that's kind of where the big problem went. So on Saturdays, I usually go to the night one, and usually that is at 5:30, like practice starts. So usually I get there for 4:30, which I always do, get there for 4:30, sign up, and then I have like 30-ish minutes to get my camera stuff ready, for me to like drink some water, get ready, put my gear on, walk the track, stuff like that, and I get ready for the actual whole event that the day is. Me not understanding that this race started at 4 o'clock and not 5:30. So I ended up getting to the track at about 4:30 as I usually do, but thank God the day was actually delayed by like 40-ish minutes. So when I got there, I saw carts already on, and I was like, oh, it's probably the guys from before, but then quickly I realized, hey, this is the only race today, I'm late. So I had to go talk to the lady at the front desk, and she was able to get me in right away, and I still was able to get 2 practices before the actual qualifying and race, which was pretty awesome, and it kind of worked out very, very well for me. Big thing that kind of got me mad about the whole event, besides me being late, was they actually didn't have in my shoes, and apparently with the whole COVID thing, I have a very big problem keeping the Alpine Star shoes in stock. So I just eventually just got my refund of my money, and I guess I'm doing pretty well with the Converse anyways, and I think they're starting to be a hit, so I'm just gonna keep using my Converse from now on. And oh well, maybe if I get a sponsor or something in the future. Alpine Star, you want to sponsor me? But I don't have my shoes, and I'm probably just gonna run those for the rest of the year, and it doesn't really matter because they'll get destroyed anyways, and my Converse that I use now, or the ones I use from now on, I have an old pair of Converse that are all beat up that are perfect for racing anyways. To actually get into the whole racing part of the day, first things first, it was raining. So me with this whole beginner part of the whole series and whatever, like driving actual go-karts with slicks outside, not just like little go-karts indoors that are kind of like for real beginners, it was kind of hard for me to learn, you know, on slicks and stuff. Add to that, it started to rain, and I've never driven in like rain in well, besides like my car, but I've never raced in rain in general, so that was kind of interesting. But to add insult to injury, it was my 3rd race, but technically it's my 4th time on the track. We did a reverse layout, so I was even more lost. Well, it wasn't too bad because once you know, I knew like the original layout, so I kind of was able to figure out where like the braking points and stuff were, but because it was raining, it kind of just blew everything out of the water, no pun intended. I kind of learned pretty quickly, but then the track did start to dry up, so it was kind of interesting. You can still take turn 1 in the regular layout, or the last turn in the reverse layout flat out, but that comes to bite me in the butt a little later, so I'll get onto that after. But yeah, a lot of stuff is very similar how you can take corners, but it was a lot of fun. I wish it was dry, and I wish I was actually paying attention when I was racing. For qualifying, I ran a 43.9 or something like that with a half damp, half dry setup, so I was actually pretty proud of that. It wasn't that quick, but for me, like first time driving in the rain, kind of worked out. And the last corner, like I mentioned before, was flat out. But since it was a little damp, I had to catch myself, and I almost threw myself up a hill into a wall, which was kind of scary, and it could have ended my day really bad. Again, it's foreshadowing what's happening after, but we'll move on from that. I said before, practice 1 and 2 went pretty well. Actually, I got comfortable, a lot more comfortable in the reverse layout for some reason than I was in the regular layout, which might be for other people, but I'm not sure. Also, I ended up qualifying like 7th, so yeah, obviously people have more experience in the rain. So to start off the race, like I said, I started off in 7th, which wasn't surprising to me. I knew because of the rain and stuff like that, I would end up somewhere like that. But during the race, everything kind of went downhill for my whole confidence and everything really quickly. So to start off with cold tires and me not being used to, you know, slight, you know, drizzle of rain, which I thought there was a slight drizzle of rain, I wasn't very good. I think I spun out maybe 4 or 5 times. Again, I don't want to make this video I don't forget to make this video because of how bad I did. I generally did forget my camera equipment, so I hope really people can like see through the camera like how genuine I'm trying to talk about this. I was really mad because I'm telling you, this video would have been more fun to watch than me to hold my pride on. And I think all my videos have showed like I don't really hide anything on like what I do in my go-karting league or even in my autocross. So like I hope that really comes across through the camera. Whatever, I'm babbling, whatever, we'll move on. The race, yes, like I said, I spun out maybe 4 or 5 times, maybe more, I don't know. But the big issue happened on, I think it was the second last or maybe the last lap. No, it was at the third or second last lap. A big disaster happened. So as you can see from my helmet from previous times, my visor is tinted. I can pull up a video or whatever here showing you my visor. It's tinted, but it's not like an actual visor tint. What I did was I bought like a vinyl for like a headlight tint, which you shouldn't put on headlights anyway because that's kind of dumb. You should see where you're going. You shouldn't put headlight tint or even brake light tint, but again, I'm rambling, whatever. So I have that kind of tint, so you can't really see perfectly out. It does have a slight orange peel, so it's kind of weird to see out of the helmet. So that's kind of my fault in general. But for example, I couldn't really see out the helmet that well. Also, because it was raining, which I didn't know, it was raining quite heavily, should I add. I kept wiping my visor clean, and my visor started fogging up. When I started breathing hard, you know, 4th, 5th lap, I'm fighting the cart the entire time, so I don't know what I'm doing. All the smoke and everything, whatever, all the heat from my mouth, but completely blinded me. I couldn't see anything. So on the 3rd or 4th lap, I forgot what it was, doesn't matter. Like I said for the last turn, how I said it was flat out, but in the dead rain, which I couldn't see, was going on, I couldn't see, and I went flat on the last turn, and I completely spun, went up this freaking hill, and I just barely nailed like a fence that was there. That's basically the fence that when you see us like line up to go out for the regular grid, that's the fence I almost hit. I went up that thing, and I have a little clip here that I can place in to show you exactly how I went up that hill. So to explain what happened in that turn, it's gonna be easier to show you visually. It's essentially I came in here with it wet as hell, and there was probably that exact puddle there as well. And as I was coming in, I went way too hot, and I flew right into that wall. Essentially, I almost hit the barrier, but we got pretty close. I had to really just get out of my cart and push it right off, and everything was a mess. With every bad thing in racing, a lot of good comes out of it as well. I was able, for my last lap, I was able to follow the guy that was actually in first place, and I learned like exactly where to kind of brake-ish and how much I need to brake more in that like intense rain. Also, like I said with my visor, I think the tint may or may not have to go. We'll have to see. I haven't taken it off yet. I've done a couple more races. You'll see how those go. I haven't taken it off yet. When we get to the later races in the year, well, I think there's 2 or 3 or 1 or 2 or 3-ish, maybe even the final in October, where it starts to get darker later, or earlier should I say. And we start racing at 7 o'clock when it starts to be pitch black. And I know they have floodlights, but even with that, I may need to remove my tint, which kind of disappoints me because I think my helmet looks great with it. But it's gonna have to be something I have to get rid of. But yeah, so as you can tell, I came in dead last at the end of the race. I learned quite a bit, and at the end of the race, as I was pulling in, I raised my visor and I could finally see how much rain was actually coming down. Everything was soaked. I was like drenched, and I could see the actual like massive raindrops coming down, and you can't really hear anything because I wear a balaclava underneath, then my helmet, and plus with the carts ripping that they were, you couldn't hear the actual rain come down. But as I rose my visor, like I said, there was rain everywhere, and it was an absolute mess to say the least. And I realized why I was spinning so much and how I should have braked way more, and that's kind of the big issue. The main problem literally was me having the visor tinted and I couldn't see anything out of it. That being said, that is basically how my race went. It went absolutely terrible, but I learned a ton from it. I learned basically how to brake more in the rain, and that I need to slow the hell down when I'm in the rain, because slicks, rain on asphalt do not mix whatsoever. I want to keep rambling on about this stuff because I want this really to be a short video, just like a quick update for everyone to see. But with that being said, I had a blast. We learned. I have a couple more races coming up that I already recorded, and I'm doing much better now that like I understand kind of what I'm doing now. And don't worry, they're all recorded, and I make sure that like I don't forget my camera equipment anymore, because it just makes for a bad day, and I'd rather have like actual content to make than me just talking in front of my Supra, which we might have content about this soon because I started working on it, not as sad anymore. But anyways, with that being said, if you like this kind of content, well, this one here you won't see as much, but if you want to see more go-karting content, I have much more on my channel that you can watch. And with that being said, I'd like to thank you guys for watching, thank you guys for subscribing, and I'll see you next week with a proper racing video of some sort. I don't know which one it is yet, but you'll see it.